You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point. Today's story, the T-Boy. The year was 1985, in the working-class town of Lancashire, England. A young man was playing the club circuit. Let's just call him Richard. Richard was not your typical frontman. In fact, he was pitifully, painfully shy. He had freckles, a boyish face, and a slender frame. Because he didn't want the spotlight, he sat securely at the back of the stage, hiding behind the drum kit for a local soul band. But one night, the lead singer abruptly quit. The band was in a bind. Desperate, they looked at the quiet drummer and told him that he had to step up to the microphone. Richard reluctantly abandoned the drumsticks and walked to the front of the stage and began to sing. What came out of the boyish, freckled-faced teenager was shocking. It wasn't the thin, reedy voice of a pop icon. It was a massive, booming, soulful baritone. It sounded like it belonged in a seasoned Motown veteran, not a skinny kid from Northern England. Word got around. Eventually, a legendary record producer came to a show, heard the impossible voice, and immediately invited Richard to London. Richard would pack his bags. This was it. The big time. The major record studio in the capital city. But when Richard arrived at the hit-making factory known as Stock Aitken Waterman, they didn't hand him a recording contract. They didn't put him behind the microphone. They handed him a tray. They made him the studio T-Boy. For months, the boy with the $1 million baritone fetched coffee. He made tea. He swept the floors. He ran out and grabbed sandwiches for all of the other stars. The producers thought he was too green, too shy to handle the pressure of the music industry. They wanted him to learn the environment from the absolute bottom. So Richard quietly served the tea and watched. He absorbed the agonizing process of how a pop star was engineered, mixed, and produced. Finally, after paying his dues in the shadows, the producers decided he was ready. On New Year's Day, 1987, they brought the T-Boy into the vocal booth to record a bouncy, synth-heavy dance track they had written. When the song was released, the public was completely baffled. Radio listeners heard the deep, resonant voice and assumed it was a prominent American R&B singer. When the music video dropped and revealed a smiling, dancing, red-headed kid in a striped polo shirt, nobody could believe their eyes. The song skyrocketed to number 1 in 25 different countries. But that's not the real twist. You see, decades later, long after the synthesized era had faded, a brand new generation of digital creators and internet tricksters would resurrect the T-Boy's music video. They began hiding the link to that bouncy 1987 song in emails and message boards, springing up unexpectedly on victims. The quiet drummer who swept the studio floor didn't just sing a hip-hop song. He unwittingly became the punchline to the most famous, unstoppable, and enduring bait-and-switch prank in the history of the internet. His name, Richard Paul. You know him as Rick Astley. And whether you realize it or not, this is The Landing Point. Thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. Our stories come out Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so you can always catch our latest story. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They're a full-service real estate company that can help you with both your real estate, residential and commercial needs, both buying and selling and leasing for the commercial side. If you haven't done so already, please go out to our YouTube page and subscribe so you can get our latest stories that come out. If you want our latest updates, please go to our Facebook page and follow and like that. And then for those of you that enjoy just listening to stories when you're out on the drive, we do have our podcast too that you can hear the same stories. Thank you for listening to today's story, and we'll catch you next time.